With us in the studios this morning to discuss the issues, let's welcome a regular guest on Good Morning Nigeria, Dr. Yunus Tanko, who is a former national chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council and incumbent chair of the National Conscience Party. Dr. Yunus Tanko, pleasure to have you on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much for having me.
We also have with us in the studios Adamu Garba II, is a presidential aspirant the All Progressives Congress. Now, this is the second time he will be aspiring, because in the 2019 election, he also wanted to get his heart into the ring. Adamu Garba II, delighted to have you this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, and we also have in the studio here Senator Nkechi Nwogu, PhD, Ugonwa Indibo, here Abiam. Approach via Zoom from Abeokuta is Bashoru Ni Salako, political analyst, a Nigerian who was once a resident in UK. You're welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you for inviting us.
Also with us via Zoom from Germany is Honorable Chibogo Kenneth Gbandi, Deputy National Chairman, Diaspora Engagement, African Democratic Congress, ADC, and Senatorial Aspirant for Delta North. It's good to have you join us all the way from Germany this morning.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, Nigeria.
All right, so once again, our pleasure to have all the guests with us for the conversation this morning.
Thank you. Let's go to Germany, where we have Honorable Chibogo Kenneth Gbandi. You have listened to our guests here in the studio, and I'm sure you have already formed an opinion. So let's get that your view with respect to the topic for today, which is the high cost of nomination forms and the form for expression of interest.
Thank you so much, sir, and good morning once again, and good morning, Nigeria. Yes, I've listened to very robust debate and contribution from the panel.
Dr.
And then from our distinguished senator, when I was hearing her reasons why probably the form from her party is so exorbitant, I was just shaking my head. And thank God the last speaker was able to touch on that. That if monetary policy is going to be the criteria, to select presidential aspirant, then we're in a very big trouble in Nigeria. Because of course, by so doing, you have simply discriminated the youths, you have simply discriminated the technocrats, who are basically in every society, the bane, the broom, the powerhouse behind every policy making, so to say. And if the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is being, chosen from the party level based on the ability of how much you can pay, then we have an issue with that. That's one. But secondly, we think it's morally, politically, and even economically wrong. That in a country where we're having the ASU, the university teachers on strike, where we're having a cost of living very, very high, rocketing every day, that we could be talking about 100 million for a political form. I mean, that is basically something that one has to, cry about. But having said all that, the important thing also is that if, like the last panelist or the last speaker said, if we have a political party or two political parties, as the case may be, generating over between 3 and 7 billion naira for their nomination or for their political nomination forms, you can realize why we're having a lot of instability both in the parties and also in Nigeria. Because the party, according to the last speaker, which I also agree with, who is actually having a budget bigger than a state budget, is in a position to destabilize not even the government or their party, but also to destabilize the country. If they have so much money within their party, then it becomes that the party and not the individual, actually who is the person controlling the party. And that is why we have good intended people. People you think that when they come into an office, they are definitely going to do miracles or do wonders. And you wonder that when they get into the office, they become very, very ineffective. And one wonders what is the reason. And we can see exactly one of the reasons now. That if a party becomes so much, if it becomes so rich, financially, empowered, that they are even bigger than a certain state, so to say, in Nigeria. And of course, that they basically control the policies and control the system in their political parties. And even when they are elected into a certain position like the governorship or the president, that the party, becomes stronger than the individual themselves to be able to do what they set out to do. So I think it's a very, very wrong precedent. It's a very, very wrong. Whatever they want to justify, whether it's a strategy to discriminating the boys from those people who are not serious. Why can't we even think about using criteria as the ability to perform? Why can't we use the ability of your report card, your pedigree, what you have done in the civil service, what you have done in your company, what you have done in any of the profession as a criteria to select who is going to run for the presidency rather than using money? But it's very, very clear that if we want quality people, if we want credible people in Nigeria to come to aspire for the office of the President of the Republic of Nigeria, I don't know how many technocrats, I don't know how many students that will afford 100 million for a political firm. So it's very obvious that by setting up that misplaced strategy, that will definitely taking away the technocrats, taking away credible youth, taking away people who innovators, global leaders who have probably the ability to contribute to the country, but they lack the financial resources. And so I think there must be, and there should be every other means of addressing that. I don't know if it's possible. I think we have to come with a legislation that actually limit the amount the political parties are allowed to charge if we are going to have a headway in that country in terms of a credible selection of candidates.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Chibuogu. We'll return to you.
Reaching us via Zoom. First, let's go to Germany once more. Chibuogu Kenneth Gbandi, let's get your view with respect to party management and the issue of party members not subscribing to the party, or rather not being financial members of the party.
Thank you, sir. I think both the last speaker actually touched at the heart of the matter. Let me start with the Senate. And she was right when she said during the NRC and the SDP, there was very clear ideological view. Even though it was at the teaching stage, it was at the trying stage, but you could discover that we have a two-party that have a different ideology. Today, you ask yourself, I don't want to call party names, but it is very, very difficult to differentiate between APC and PDP. What is the ideology? Are they market-oriented? Are they reform-oriented? Are they youth-oriented? And so what we are lacking presently in the system is that our political parties, they lack ideology. Very, very clear. So once you do not have any orientation, then it's very difficult also to find people who are probably not convinced that any of the two parties are actually something to go by. That's one. But secondly, going back to what we actually said before, that if a party can muster between 3 and 7 billion through the sales of the form, you discover that they do not actually care about whether they have membership or not, because they have all the money available to run the party. So the idea of cultivating their members, trying to make their members to become stakeholders, does no longer exist. So what you have is godfatherism, and that's actually what's happening, where basically at every election cycle, they divide money, they call so-called rallies, and the people come together, and then they call them members. The truth of the matter is that most political parties, they do not have membership. They have membership on paper, because what they do is that during congresses or during state meeting, they can afford to pay for the number of the so-called delegates, or to pay for members, and they say these are our members we have, because they have the money to pay for that. So because of that, they don't really care whether the members are really carried along or not. In my consultation in the past few weeks in Nigeria, Nigerians are actually they are fed up with the system. It's irrespective of which political party. So they are not interested in getting involved in the political party, because they fear that the party is not taking them into consideration. So as long as we have a party that are richer than the state or the country itself, they do not really care what the ordinary Nigerian think about them. They do not think whether they have an ideology or not. All they know is that they have enough money power to call conventions, pay for delegates, and assume that these delegates are all paying members. So I think we are going to go back to the drawing board, where the political parties should begin to define what is their position. Are they youth-oriented? Of course, if they are youth-oriented, one will expect that a lot of youths, I mean, if we can raise how many million for the big brothers during voting, it means that if we have a political party that actually address the concerns of the youth, they will expect to get the youth membership. If we have a political party that actually interested in investment, and that their core ideology is centered around investment, then they have, of course, a lot of business people, a lot of investors, both locally and foreign and international, that want to identify with them because they see a common denominator. So again, the ideology of party makes a lot of difference.
All right, Honorable Chibuogu Kenneth Gbandi, thank you very much for your comments.